Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back in. Hey, we got to talk today about the Clippers, Game 3 with the Phoenix Sun. We've had some really good basketball games. We really have. I mean, yesterday, the Trae Young 49-point game. I said on this channel yesterday, Bucks in 5. I said that, and it can still happen. But I said out of respect, the reason I'm not picking a sweep and the reason that I even potentially lean Bucks in 6 is just for one man. And that man's name is Trae Young. Bogdanović was banged up, right? Trae Young has to do that. He has to do what he did yesterday. I said 50-point game Trae Young's is a joke, and he goes for 49 points. He has to do that for them to win games. They barely win that game. Both teams poor three-point shooting. But we could talk more on that for tomorrow's Game 2 of that series. But Game 3 of this series is going to be a lot. And honestly, credit to the Clippers. On the road in 2 games, being very competitive. In that last game, almost stole the game. Had no business being there. The final 90 seconds, scoring 5 points, right? Getting right back into it with a lead. Should have potentially won if Paul George can hit those 2 free throw attempts. The first time in Paul George's career that he misses back-to-back free throw attempts ever in his career. For a guy who came to the line for a close to 90% free throw shooting. We're going to get into all that and more. We're going to talk about the betting lines that I like in this one. Yesterday, the Milwaukee -8 was not great. At one point, they were up 7, somewhat late, but was not a great one, right? But overall, having some success in this postseason, still positive. So we'll talk about the betting line for this game, a spot that I have on this one. We will also talk about player props. I've placed 4 player props today, and then obviously DFS and priorities from there. I'm very energized today. Happy National Handshake Day. I wish I can dap all you motherfuckers up out there right now. So dap you up through the screen. Happy National Handshake Day. Your boy got a new haircut. I'm still trying to find a fantastic barber, but this is the best one I found so far. And yeah, it's not the highest of high fades, but we'll take it. It's feeling good for the first time in like a month of actually getting some haircuts. Not only that, I got this energy. Sometimes you get this energy that just exudes and you're feeling really good in the mornings. Maybe it's a little bit of the caffeine making you fucking high and getting all your adrenaline going. But also my parents are flying in. They're flying in to visit the new place, so I'm pumped about that. We can get some of that stuff in the vlog if you want to check that stuff out. But let's talk about it. Let's start on this one on the Clippers side of the ball. We'll go through the minutes momentarily. But Paul George, yes, he was double teamed most of the game. He's been great. He's been an offensive weapon for them. He only scored 26 in this game. A lot of them came late for him. He misses the 2 free throws. He shoots 43% in the game. It definitely doesn't come down to those 2 free throw attempts. Like, that's not the only reason why they were there at that point in the game. He got them to that point in the game. But yes, missing both of them stinks. Even if you just make one, probably the dunk doesn't happen on the other side. There's maybe a different play call, but you're definitely not losing if the dunk does happen on a 2-point play. Going through some more players on this side of the ball, Pat Beverly was fantastic in this one. I mean, he was fantastic if you're a Clippers fan, if you're on the Clippers. If you're a fan of anybody else, especially Devin Booker's nose and the Suns, you're probably really mad. You're probably really angry. You're probably saying this is dirty Pat Beverly. He's a dirty player out there. He doesn't, yeah. I mean, he just plays physical. It's similar to PJ Tucker. PJ Tucker, who's really good friends with Kevin Durant, playing insanely physical defense. This is the playoffs. I mean, yes, breaking people's noses is probably not the best way to go, but playing physical defense is the playoffs. He held Booker to 5 of 16 shooting, 31%, and he forced, not all of them, but Booker. There's only 9 turnovers in this game for the Suns. Booker had 7 of them. So 2 games ago when Stephen A is saying, you know, just for ratings, but for the most part, overreacting, that Devin Booker is the next Kobe Bryant. He is a fantastic player. He is a lengthy guard who is getting better on defense, can shoot. I see the comparisons to Kobe, but not a X amount all-star MVP, right? We get that part. But this is the other reason why, right? It's because these games can go back and forth. It's not as consistent. And he had a really bad game in this one because a lot of that was Mr. Pat Bev. Also 5 personal fouls. You can see some frustration out of Devin Booker. Let's pull up some of the minutes now for these Clippers and talk about Luke Kennard's minutes. Luke Kennard right now I'm projecting for, if I scroll down, just 12 minutes of play. Not shocked to see more though. Luke Kennard saw a lot of run in the second half. He saw 13 second half minutes after playing just 5.5 first half minutes. So he was on pace to play about 10 to 12 minutes in this game. As we've been saying all postseason long, like when Luke Kennard went 7 of 9 in the past series in game 1, I believe against Utah, and he ends up playing a lot of minutes because he's shooting 7 of 9 overall and like 5 of 6 from 3. If Luke Kennard is scoring, he will stay on the court. It is simple as that. He doesn't offer much in the defensive end, so when he's not scoring, when he's not shooting 3 of 4 from 3-point range, why is he out there? He's not playing defense, he's not giving you something, and he's not hot from 3. You can't keep him out there from a plus-minus standpoint. Well, Kennard in this one closed out the last about 13 minutes. He checked in and out in the last like couple seconds or so, but let's just call it he closed out the game the last 13 minutes. He was +8 during that time because he had 10 fourth quarter points. And oh yeah, more shooting equals more minutes, 13 second half minutes in this game. I'm projecting him for 12 minutes in this game because he was on pace for about that in the last game, because I'm not projecting him to score 10 points in a quarter and stay on the court and close out the rest of the game. Now, there was very strange rotations in this game, and after the game, there was some pressers and some interviews, and it kind of seemed like a fatigue issue. But Nicholas Batum did not start in this one. They opted to start big, and they ended up going with Zubac. And then after that, Batum has been a major piece for them, only plays 16 minutes. Terrence Mann only plays 19 minutes. Obviously a massive piece in Game 6 to come back and get them to the series against Utah, avoiding that Game 7. My belief is that, like I said last time, give Cousins less minutes with Marcus Morris back. That's what happened, 4 minutes, and honestly, those 4 minutes were not great overall. Cousins played 4 minutes in that last game and was -2. But now my belief is play less Rondo. Rondo is shooting 40% in the postseason at the rim. You might have seen Rondo make 2 out of 4 threes in that last game, and that's actually pretty decent, but no defense is being played. He does not actually orchestrate an offense. He does not create his own shot, so he's not doing much out there for you. And when he's not finishing at the rim, what are you doing? He's a decent rebounding guard. Maybe he picks up a couple of assists in a game, but he's not doing much out there for you. I believe you see more Terrence Mann out there. I believe you see more Nicholas Batum. And the big reason why I think you see more Nicholas Batum in this one, outside of maybe the fatigue thing, is Chris Paul is returning for the series, right? Chris Paul is returning now, and Chris Paul is going to dominate, absolutely destroy. Did you see Trae Young yesterday against Bobby Portis and Brook Lopez? Destroying them, forced them off the court, forced Brook Lopez off the court often in the pick and roll offense. Well, outside of Trae Young, the second best, if not the best, probably the best overall is Chris Paul over the last 10 years in the pick and roll offense, and he's going to dominate Zubac or any big, definitely DeMarcus Cousins. I don't see him playing today. So I think Zubac is going to play less run. I think a lot of people out there today are going to project Zubac for 30-plus minutes like he played last game, maybe even 28 minutes. I'm giving Zubac today 22 minutes of play. That might seem aggressive to you. Chris Paul will force this man off the court. I expect Chris Paul to play big minutes. So if Chris Paul is out there for 38 minutes, there's a real chance Zubac can't be out there for most, if not all, of those minutes with Chris Paul, because their play calling is going to be set up to pick and roll, get into the lane, make Zubac commit, bam, there goes 8 in for easy buckets. Zubac doesn't commit, bam, there's a floater or an 8-footer for Chris Paul. And Zubac is too big. He's going to be on ice skates. We've seen this in past series, and then Zubac quickly goes from playing, oh, he played 24 minutes to, oh, he's playing only 6, 8, 10 minutes. That's going to happen pretty quick here. So get the edge in right now. If Zubac starts, it gives you a little bit more security for his minutes. Maybe you give him 24 in a minutes projection. Right now I have Zubac, I believe, projected for 22 minutes of play. That is correct. He's in a player pool for me, but I think a lot more people are going to be overhyping Zubac because of his 34-minute game the last time out. This is a different series now with Chris Paul. This is different defensively to how to guard that, and Zubac is the worst way to guard that. So Rondo needs to get less run. I think you get more shot creation out of Mann, like we mentioned, and play creation. I have Rondo at 14 minutes, not the overall run that he saw last game out there, which was 17. The game before that, playing over 20 minutes of play. So I think Rondo sees a little bit more, or a little less run in this one. And because I think Rondo sees less run, we can talk about my first player prop today. You can tail these ones or take whichever ones you want. They're linked down below over on Prize Picks. You just take the over-unders. It's legal in a lot of states, New York, Florida. I say that because those states don't have a lot of legal-sized sports betting, but over-under. Rondo under 15.5 fantasy points is where I'm at on that one. I'll take it. Last time it didn't work out for us. I believe he went slightly over that number. I think he's going to slowly see less minutes, especially if you're going to put Chris Paul out there for 36 to 38 minutes today. Even more of a reason to not have Rondo out there. Even more of a reason to have more Pat Bev out there, more Batum out there from a defensive standpoint. These wings that can actually guard and switch. Rondo is not one of those. So we'll take the under 15.5. If you want to use the code SAL when you sign up, you can take that bet and some of the other ones we talk about throughout the video. Just use the code SAL. There's a link in the description below. They'll give you a free bet. Free bets to play with. Once you deposit any, you get a free deposit match up to whatever you put in, and you have a couple free bets to play with. So why not? It's a limited time offer only. So check it out. It is linked down below. That is Prize Picks, the sponsor of the program. That code SAL, S-A-L, lets them know which came from me, your boy. So the Clippers in this series, in this game, were fine. They shot 45% from 3. They shot 24 free throw attempts, which is good to see. Playing aggressive, 75% from the line. But because I'm expecting Chris Paul to be back, like they're saying at this point, and to play full run, again, it wasn't an injury. It was just COVID, which did not seem to affect him symptom-wise, so I don't think it's that big of a deal. I'm giving Batum the start here at 32 minutes, so we'll see what happens. So I'm projecting Batum in. If it changes, we'll update it over on Patreon. We'll update the projections, the ranks, all that type of stuff, the optimizer. But I'm giving Batum 32 minutes of play right now, and I'm giving Zubac only 22. Terrence Mann, I'm giving up to 22, only at 19 last time out. So you can see the minutes on the screen right now. My interest on this team would be in this order. Pat Beverly, 1. I think he plays even more minutes to guard Booker in this one, and or Chris Paul. So Pat Beverly as a value play at $3,200 is my number 1 interest. Number 2 for me is going to be one Paul George. And then after Paul George, a lot of guys just kind of fall into place here as not as great options for me at their current price points. They're just all in a player pool, right? You have Zubac, Rondo, Reggie Jackson, Marcus Morris, Terrence Mann, Batum. All these guys are just in a player pool after that for me. If I had to pick one, I would go Reggie Jackson 3, Marcus Morris 4, and then give and take, if Zubac starts, we get a little bit more interest there. So we did have that Rondo prop, and on the opposite side of it, I'm going to take the over 14 fantasy points on Pat Bev, who I just said is my favorite point per dollar Clipper, at least right now. It's him and Paul George. I have Pat Bev for 18.52 fantasy points. He's at 14. We'll take the over there. I currently have Rondo at 12.4 fantasy points. Like I said, we'll take the under there. So those are the two that I have on the Clippers side. We can talk about the ones on the Suns side as we get into that, and we're going to get into it right now. Appreciate you still being here, so like and subscribe. Do those things. We didn't go live yesterday. My parents are coming today, but I plan to go live later today around 6 p.m. East Coast time, 5 p.m. over on my Texas time. So let's talk about Phoenix in that last game. I mean, it was campaign night. It was campaign night, and it was a big campaign night. This is how insane campaign was in that last game. He shot 50%, 12 of 24. He had 9 assists, so as fantastic efficient shooting-wise, getting involved, the playmakers, 0 turnovers. You go out there as somebody who's not known as being the most efficient guard, right? Especially when it comes to turnovers. Campaign goes out there, 29 points, 9 assists on 50% shooting, 0 turnovers. He played 37.5 minutes, but now he's going to be a pure backup. But this is insane. Like, this is a guy now who's going to go to the second unit, give some juice to the second unit run, and it just makes it even harder now when the depth is going to be there instead of on the Clippers side. Obviously, no Kawhi, banged up players. So now the depth going there on the Phoenix side. You're putting Chris Paul in the game, and you're going to give 16 to 20 minutes, depending on how much Paul plays, to now campaign off the bench with that second unit. It's just getting very difficult. And when campaign's going up against Rondo and Luke Kennard in the second minute, he's going to start to cook those guys if he's going to be playing like this campaign. Like we said, CP3 is going to return, and as you can see, I'm projecting full run, 38 minutes out of CP3. He was the better player in that Denver series when he was healthy than one Devin Booker. I mean, he's been the better player all series long, or all year long, than Devin Booker. Booker has some of these spike games, but if you're just talking about the actual what he brings to the team, from an assist percentage, from a consistency shooting percentage, he's been better than Devin Booker this year, right? Devin Booker gets a lot of hype. He gets the big recognition. He's the younger player, but Chris Paul has been the overall anchor of this team. Since the playoffs have started on May 22nd, Chris Paul is shooting 54%, which is below his season average of 58%. I mean, when you're hurt for 3 or 4 of those games, playing through some Lakers games, it's going to affect that. He's averaging 1.16 fantasy points per minute. Booker's right around 1.1 in 312 minutes of play. And oh yeah, a 40% assist percentage. On the year, he's at about 43%. A 40% assist percentage for Chris Paul. That's why we like him, because he's going to go out there, he's going to shoot 54% on his 10 to 15 attempts. He's going to score you 10 to 15 to 20 fantasy real life points, and then he's going to go out there and get double-digit assists when he plays this many minutes. And that's the big thing. Like, when Chris Paul is projected to play 38, even if he only plays 36, this isn't the regular season where he's playing literally 30 minutes per game. And in 30 minutes per game at a 40% assist percentage, he was getting you 10 assists. Now he's going to be playing extra 6 to 8 to 10 minutes per game. You can be damn sure that you're going to be in line for double-doubles left and right out of Chris Paul. I like Chris Paul a lot today. There's a chance that, yet again, Chris Paul is my favorite play on the entire slate. Right now, I have Chris Paul for those 38 minutes and about 43.6 fantasy points. He is currently projected for tied for second with Devin Booker for most points on the slate. The only guy for more is Paul George on the opposite side. Now, DeAndre Ayton, we can talk about him, continues to dominate on both ends of the court. He's the first player ever in the shot clock era to shoot 70+% in his first 12 playoff games. He shot 80% in that last game of 12 of 15 shooting, 35 minutes of play, 14 boards, and he was a +4 overall while on the court. And obviously the the Valley Uli dunk. I keep saying Uli. What the fuck's an Uli? I hope that's not something derogative. But here we go. The Valley Oop dunk to end it. Jesus. Whew. We talked about Booker being slow by Pat Bev, had 7 of those 9 turnovers. I don't expect that to happen again. And then the team stats, they only shot 23% from 3. So this is a team that's going to shoot really well. Now Chris Paul back, 23% from 3. Look, we haven't talked about the spread in this one. They came into this, I believe the Suns is just -1. Getting Chris Paul back and adding campaign to the bench unit and not having to play 10 to 12 minutes of Etuan Moore and now getting a lot more ball security. Like, the fact that I took yesterday -1 for Phoenix, they're already down to -1.5. I would assume by the time the game starts, they'll be to -2 to -2.5. As much as I want this series to go on more, and I don't want it to go 3-0 because then it's basically a wrap with no Kawhi Leonard. I wanted that split to go 1-1. Maybe you get a game 5 in there that's meaningful. I'm going with, right now, I have already placed Phoenix -1. I still like the -1.5 out there. Just, they're going on the road, sure, but now you're getting Chris Paul back. It's totally different dimensions here. Marcus Morris still looks banged up. They don't have the bodies to even guard campaign, let alone campaign plus Chris Paul now, and they got the bad Devin Booker game last time out. It's too much. I'm going to be taking right now the Phoenix side of this one at -1. Now, from Phoenix overall for fantasy purposes, from DraftKings, FanDuel, that type of stuff, I would rank my interest on the Phoenix side. Almost broke the fucking mic. Chris Paul, Jay Crowder, Booker, Ayton, Bridges, Cam Johnson, Torrey Craig. In that order. No Cameron Payne interest now, as he's going to play about half the minutes, if not a third of the minutes, off the bench. As you see, he played 38 last game out. I have him at 14 now. There's the rest of the minutes. I have Sarge for 12, Torrey Craig for 13. And then to finish up the props that I have today, I currently have Chris Paul over 8.5 assists. We just talked about it. This is a guy who's averaging a 40% assist percentage in the postseason. When he was playing 30 minutes a game, his 40% assist percentage resulted in about 10 assists per game. Now he's going to play 36 to 38 minutes in a close game today. I feel very good about the over 8.5 assists. I have Chris Paul today for 10.7 assists. So 8.5, we'll take the over. And then I take the over 11.5 real life points from McCall Bridges. McCall Bridges last time out did not have this. He only had 5 points. But if you look at that for the past 5 games before that, it's 14, 14, 11, 16, and 23 real life points. I'll take the over 11.5 points there from McCall Bridges. He gets enough shot attempts. He's going to shoot in this game about 10 times. He'll probably shoot somewhere between 3 and 5 3-pointers. It just comes down to, is he knocking down his shots at a 55% clip like he's used to, or is it 29% like last time out and he's not going to be getting you there? As an efficient shooter, as an efficient player, I'll be taking the over 11.5 points on McCall Bridges. So those are the 4 props that we have right now. You can go back and look at them if you need more. You can check out any other props that you want to, as long as you use the code SAL when you want to place them over on Prize Picks, or honestly anywhere else, but Prize Picks, you're going to get that free deposit match, so why not? Limited time offer. Get it in now, even if you want to save it for the NFL season. That deposit bonus, those free bets you get, you might as well get it in now before they take that limited time offer away. You know you're going to sign up at one point anyways. Just do it right now. What are you waiting for? So thank you for tuning in today. That is where we're at right now. That's where we're at for the props we just talked about. We are on Phoenix -1, and that's sad because that would mean it goes down 3-0, but what are you going to do? And, oh, yeah, we have already talked about the fantasy purposes, which right now my overall top plays would be Pat Beverly, Paul George, Chris Paul. Those are my favorite 3 plays on the slate today for the showdown slates. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be live later today. Be sure to hit the notification bell so you know when we're going live. And if you're brand new to the channel, get into the comment section. Give me some feedback. Yeah, have any questions, reach out on Twitter or in the channel or in the Patreon Discord. If you want to get into that Discord, down below, get into Patreon, lineup optimizer, all that type of stuff. Increase your chances of winning, reduce your research time, enter yourself into a lovely community. It sounds pretty fucking cool. See you in the next one, gang.